Hey everybody, good evening. Welcome back to the stream. It's me, Digi. We are in MSFS, the flight sim that we like to call FS2020. Not an FS2024 tonight because I wanted to fly the Phenom 100. I think it's compatible with FS2024, but I didn't want to mess with it, and I'm still trying to tweak my experience with the new sim to be as good as I'd like it to be, or approaching that at least, given, you know, its infancy and how they're growing into and addressing all the issues that they've seen and they've corrected. Tonight, I'm not going to be doing anything on VATSIM. I'm going to just be doing some lazy kind of flying around, taking my mind off of life for a little bit, or just better yet, basically just detuning. And I figured a nice biz jet flight, something not too fast, not too slow, should be good enough to get us going. I'm going to be hitting some airports that I have been in the greater vicinity of in the past. Like I said, I spent many years in the New York area, and I've also flown out of Philadelphia International Airport, IRL, and there are plenty of areas in between New York and Philadelphia that have some airports, and I figured a kind of counterclockwise spin across some of them might do me some good just to chill and just to enjoy myself. Let me go ahead and start getting the plane prepped for a flight. We're going to be departing out of Teterboro on runway 19er, and then we're going to be going to, let's see, going to be overflying. I think we're going to be, oh, the flight plan's right in front of me. We're going to be flying over Newark, going past LaGuardia, going past White Plains, then Newburgh, then Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and then Reading, and also, let's see, Heritage Field, which is outside Pottstown, and then finally getting into Philadelphia. And Philly is an airport that I've flown a lot out of in sim. So we do have some guests with us for today's flight. Hope you are all enjoying yourselves back there. Make sure to secure yourselves for departure. All right, I've already gone through some of the setup. We have the GPU running, batteries and gens on. The oxygen is now being restored, performed twice, and we have supply control packs auto and bus tie auto. We have seatbelt signs up, ELT is armed, and pumps are supplying fuel or will be supplying fuel. We have ADS, AOA, and hydraulic pumps set to auto. Ignitions are auto, so is pressurization, mode auto, bleed both, and we have a tiny flight plan set. Today I'm going to be doing some scenic flying, so I'm probably going to be somewhere between 4,000 to 6,000 feet. Again, most likely not something you're going to be doing, number one, unless you're VFR, in which case you'd be adding 500 feet to your flight plan for a westbound trip anyway. And also, I'm goofing off and I'm having a good time tonight. You're welcome to join in. I think I am okay. I was West USA. I'm going to switch back over to East USA. So I'm on East USA right now. And if you want to spawn in, I am at Teterboro Airport, more towards the northwestern side of the airport. And we are flying again the Phenom 100 provided by Cockspur. This is a wonderful plane that I like, that I've flown a lot of under the Carenado brand when I was back in FSX and P3D. So we have the plane basically electrically prepped. Now, because this plane has no APU, all I have to do now is basically disconnect the GPU, and with the battery power that I have, as long as I'm above, I think it's 24.5 volts, I should be able to start the engines fine. I have the nav lights on. The beacon light will come on when the first engine turns off, and it will turn off after the last engine shuts down. We have paneling turned up all the way. We have a little bit of upwash, which I can probably turn off for departure since we're coming into some virtual daylight. And what I can do now is unplug the GPU, dismiss it, and let's see. We have the parking brake set so I can remove the chocks, and now I can actually get underway. Now, this should start dropping voltage. It already is. It was 25.4, now it's 25.3. If I'm slow, I'll see it go to 25.2, but that's probably not going to happen. We have 80% fuel available on board, and we're going to be flying again at about 4,000 feet for most of the trip. Let's go ahead and start engine number 2. Okay, and I will keep the transponder set to 2311. And let's see, I'm going to put altitude reporting, and now we're ready to get out of here. Right engine is up and running. EGT is about 440. Let's go ahead and turn on engine number 1. Now we got both engines running. Good. So, Gen 1 off bus, that should go away. Parking brake on will keep that caution light running. Or at least it will. It was. It might have. We'll turn on the timer when we get going. I'm not worried about V-speeds. We'll just feel this plane off on the runway. Just maybe about 130, 140. We'll start a gentle pull back on the stick to get this thing up in the sky. So let me go ahead and also add wind. No wind data right now. That's fine. We'll probably pick some up. There we go. Or, like I said, we'll probably pick some up in a bit. Traffic is on, so if I see anybody, I don't know exactly how traffic works in here. I would have imagined it would have picked up traffic, but maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so there we go. And how does this work? Navigation. Can I see the traffic map? Either the pot or Olive Garden. Let's see. I'm not sure if that map doesn't actually pick up traffic from the sim, but I'm not worried about it. We can see it if it becomes an issue. So that's fine. Engines are running, and we should be good to go. We'll taxi, and then we'll take off on runway 19er, and then we'll begin our Cook's tour of the greater New York City and Philly metro areas. But good evening, friends, and welcome aboard. If you are unfamiliar or new to the channel, my name is DIGI Driver. I am a flight sim streamer and occasional scenery developer. I am usually working on sceneries for Microsoft Flight Sim. Tonight I figure I'd just take a break and do some flying. I also had been meaning to do some dev streams lately, but honestly I just got busy dealing with work and just taking care of self and family. So I am back for a flight tonight. I don't think I'll be multi-pilot. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. I think I'm probably going to be streaming on maybe Sunday night. Maybe. We'll see. All right, current heading, that would be 24. So That's the other runway I want to go to. That works. Cool. Ground speed, kind of zippy. Seatbelt signs already on. Let's go ahead and turn the landing lights and strobes on. And we'll get lined up on the runway, hit the timer button, and then we'll get out of here. Thank you to everyone watching on the replay, and thank you to all my lurkers. Appreciate you. All right. Okay. Cut the engines for a little bit, make sure we're prepped. There we go. Timer button pressed. Gyro adjusted. There we are. Let's get out of here. Touch of flaps for takeoff. Let's get cleaned up here. 80 knots. Ground handling is a little touchy. And up we go. Positive rate, gear up. All right. So let's go ahead and activate autopilot. Let it take us on nav. Flight level change. 170 knots is fine. It'll take us up to cruising altitude really fast. On a jet, no sir. This is the Phenom 100. One of my faves. It's a wonderful bird. Good to see you, my friend. Welcome aboard. Happy to have you. Folks, Eric Flight is one of the great friends of the channel and somebody that I've appreciated and got to know as a good friend. Definitely give Eric Flight a follow if you haven't done so in the past. I would highly recommend you go check out Eric Flight's content. Alright, so we are already up in the sky, and we are about to pass by Newark Airport, unless the bands kind of like wheel us up over Manhattan before we get to the airport. Over on the right is Newark, and we left Teterboro and East Rutherford in our wake a while ago. Poro, good to see you, my friend. Welcome back. Very nice to have you aboard. I'm privileged to see you, friend. It's been a while. Hopefully, the new year is taking good care of you. We are in FS2020. I'm flying the Phenom 100, and we are going to be doing some kind of sightseeing tonight while I just kind of chill. And it looks like we've already reached 4,000 feet, which is fantastic. We're looking at downtown Manhattan, and we are going to be visiting some airports and just kind of sitting back and taking in the sights one strip at a time. Just felt like going on tonight just to spend time talking to all of you wonderful, amazing people, and just taking it easy. New Year's off to a good start. I'm nowhere near as as loaded with projects, things with my IRL job as I was last year. Last year was just this rolling gauntlet of project work, and I'm sure there's going to be new things that I'm going to be doing, but I'm happy to be in a much better place with regards to work and like work-life balance. I'm still kind of getting over all the stuff that I did last year, but we are in New York City. We are now overflying downtown. You see One World Trade right here, Battery Park just off the nose, the Brooklyn and Manhattan and Williamsburg bridges, and we are literally flying overhead Jersey City right now. This is photogrammetry, and I'm using lossless scaling right now, so I'm using TAA. I'm not using DLSS. I'm kind of glad I'm not, because even quality DLSS sometimes irritates me a tiny bit because of the fact that we don't have as much fidelity, and the fuzziness kind of gets in my way, and I have to really kind of zoom in to panels to see what they look like. We have passed downtown. We're going to be flying at Midtown in a few seconds. We've got the Empire State Building in here. There's this really tall, skinny apartment building where not apartment building, the condo. The rooms in that apartment building are literally, I think, like $10-25 million each. I mean, sheesh. Like, that's more money than I think I make in 2 lifetimes. $1 million row. I think you're right. I think you're right. But that particular apartment building is kind of iconic because of the fact that they have that building has like living spaces literally like 10, 20, 25 million. I don't know what the highest one is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 25 to 30. We are passing over default LaGuardia. LaGuardia is situated right just past the mouth of Long Island Sound and right on the Grand Central Parkway. The Grand Central Parkway hooks up with Interstate 678, which is the Whitestone Bridge here, feeds into that, and also other roads. Eventually it becomes, I think, the Northern State Parkway in Long Island. The Throgs Neck Bridge is Interstate 295 here, and 678 and 295 both meet I-95 in the South Bronx over here. All three are actually pretty decent options. I don't have an issue with FS2024 for graphics. You're probably going to want more memory, like RAM, if you want to use FS2024. But I know I'm thinking X-Plane 12 will probably treat you maybe just a little bit better because there won't be as much streaming of scenery. So if you have them, bat off between FS2024 and X-Plane 12. If you don't have them, if you can only get one sim, get X-Plane 12. Even with, I think, Auto Ortho, if you download it, if you don't stream it, you'll probably be okay. I guess it depends on the level of scenery detail that you do. George Washington Bridge off of here, Manhattan, the Bronx. Somewhere in here is the Bronx Zoo, and I think the Brooklyn Botanical Gardens are no, I'm sorry, the Bronx Botanical Garden is here, and that's the Moshulu Parkway. And Jerome Avenue is, I think, here somewhere. We are heading up to White Plains, and honestly, I grossly underestimated how quickly this trip would go. Um, it was funny. Well, this is what I did, and uh, this is basically either my advice or a cautionary tale. You take your pick. It took me a little while to figure out how to get the ortho to build in auto ortho because I had to download some supporting software, runtime libraries, and a compiler. But that was just my case, and that was a couple of years ago. You might have a much easier time. I did that so that I could make auto ortho download the scenery to my computer instead of streaming it. So I have several regions. The only region that I haven't bothered downloading yet, I think, is Oceania or Australia. But auto ortho on the default setting for me looks beautiful. It's kind of like when I used to have the V States ortho. It's just basically like that. Where am I right now? I think this is the Hutchinson River Parkway. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and I'm sorry for the borked ortho. Matter of fact, let me take a few seconds to see if I can make that ortho pop in faster. Terrain level of details 125. Let's make it 150. That might render smoother uh, further out. But yeah, I want to say this is the Hutchinson River Parkway, and I think that is White Plains right there. I'm just a little confused because it seems like it downloads it and stores it on your PC for a bit. Um, Good point. Good point. I opted to download it. I don't think it's necessary to download it to have auto ortho. I think it will literally stream on your PC. But my guess is by downloading those regions, it will download a pre-cooked kind of like microwave ready ortho meal with probably zoom level 15 or 16 with the dithering to sharpen the textures. So I'm assuming that's probably what's going to happen, and that you won't be streaming it otherwise. Yeah, I get it. And oh, look at that, we're already over flying White Plains. Wow. So I haven't visited this airport, but I've driven through White Plains in the past, and there are some one or two airlines that I think might still fly out of here. That's a good point. I didn't mind that because I wanted to download the regions, but you might not have to download the regions in order for you to actually be able to enjoy auto ortho. I kind of hope you don't if all you want to do is stream it. But I would imagine if you download the regions, you probably will save some CPU processing when you actually go flying. Now, if you're concerned about how much space it's going to take off, the biggest region that I downloaded was about 25 gigs, and that was either North America or Europe. All the other ones were like maybe 3, 5, 12, 13 gigs. If you have a terabyte SSD, you might be fine. You might actually be fine. Right now, I'm on my way to Newburgh, so we're going to fly up the Hudson for a little while. That is the Tappan Zee Bridge way over there. I've been on that bridge a handful of times. It's amazing, and when you think you're actually close to the water, you're still 100 feet above the surface of the water, which is kind of trippy. Depth perception and just you focusing on driving your car, it's a crazy thing. Nice. I'm slightly tempted to clean my PC as well. I know my CPU is overdue for a fresh coat of thermal paste. So, given that I've come into some disposable income, I might actually get myself a fresh bit of Arctic Silver so that I can actually reapply the thermal paste to my Ryzen 9. But we are on our way well out of the city. Matter of fact, let me just see if I can peek out the window. I might not be able to see it that well. Actually, I probably won't, but way, way down there is Manhattan. Okay, we got about 24 nautical miles till we'll get to Newburgh. And Newburgh is a bespoke airport, which means they added a little bit of extra detail to it. It comes with the, I think, latest, I guess, North America World Update? I don't know. I forget. I know there were some areas that got extra photogrammetry, but that was like, I think KSWF was a bespoke airport as far back as the last North American update. You bought Explain 12. I should probably get back to flying it, to be honest with you. I had a non, a non-zero amount of fun. I did like flying the TOLUS in the sim. So I think I might get back to it. I've been on an FS2020 kick and FS2024 kick a little for a while. And I do like flying the TOLUS, but I also have a few other airplanes as well, and I have no problem flying the default 737 as well. The experience of flying X-Plane 12 is pretty cool too. This isn't bad actually. I kind of like flying at 4,000 feet. I'm literally zipping across the terrain here, and I forget what town this is, but I drove on that road. Or is that no, I drove on the road here, a little bit of a land bridge. That's the Metro Rail. And up here, we're going to be overflying, I forget the name of the state park in upstate New York, but there's a suspension bridge that's literally a 2-lane bridge, which is amazing. It's also pretty high. You're doing 172 ops. That's great. It's amazing. I picked up the TOLUS A319 back in 2020, I want to say, and I flew it a lot. I paid about $10 for the X-Plane 12 upgrade. Don't regret doing that. I seriously don't regret doing that. It was a great piece of aircraft. And yeah, this is the state park that's up here, and then the suspension bridge is here. It doesn't look like a suspension bridge, but it is. Yeah, actually, I used to come up here. I used to come up here many years ago. I visited some folks in the area, and I, on occasion, drove up the Palisades Parkway in Jersey, and it would take you all the way up to the state park here before you cross the Hudson River into, I guess you could call it mainland New England. But it is beautiful. It is beautiful. Many years ago, I drove past the Finger Lakes. I think I drove on I-390, I-590 to the Thruway, and the scenery there is just unbelievable. It's crazy. Coming up on KSWF, I think I see the scenery already loading in. There's the airport, and I do believe it is a bespoke airport, so you will actually see some slightly custom buildings. Let me line myself up a little bit here. Pretend I'm a virtual first officer. But again, folks, good evening. Welcome aboard. So happy to have you aboard, whether you're lurking or in the chat. I'm enjoying FS2020 some more. FS2024 is going to bring the heat. I'm patient. I'm going to give it time. I'm not giving up on it. I'm just going to let them work a little bit more on it. And I also did release Higginsville Industrial Municipal Airport for FS2024, my first scenery for the new sim. There are 1 or 2 issues that I need help with fixing, and the Asobo team has recognized a report that I made and logged it as a bug where I can't add taxi signs because the current default representation of Higginsville doesn't have any default taxi signs, so it wasn't able to add any. So I'm waiting to see if they can actually fix that so I can finish the work that I've done it. And you can check me out on flightsim.to. Just search DIGI driver and you'll see the airports that I've released for FS 2020 and my airport for FS 2024. And yeah, there we go. There is the airport. Outside shot's gonna get loud. Hold on. There it is. And there's the terminal. Nice. It's neat. What a great plane. So, yeah, I'm so happy I got this. I think I got this last spring, and it seemed like almost nobody could download it for a few days because the demand was so great. I still like flying this. This is a work of art, and I'm so happy about this. It's a bargain, really. It is quite literally. When I got it, I think I paid like 28 bucks for it USD. So believe me when I say it is probably the biggest value prop this side of the PMDG 737-600 in the sim. You're not going to get a more feature-rich business jet with good flight performance and handling for the amount of money that I put down. Now, next airport we're going to is Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. We are going to be flying over some really big hills. I'm probably at still safe enough altitude to overfly them. We'll adjust altitude if necessary, but you're going to see even more mountains and such. Looks like I'm overflying the outer marker. I wasn't expecting that. All right, I'm sold. Nathan's Planes. Hello, my friend. Welcome aboard. Very happy to have you here. Folks, if you do not know my friend Nathan's Planes, you should. Nathan is a wonderful flight simmer, a friend of the channel, and somebody who is well on his way to piloting aircraft, if I'm not mistaken, and who likes to fly by the book. I mean, you know, what is a truly study level sim pilot these days? I don't know, but Nathan's pretty close. If you like procedure-based flight and insights with regards to aircraft flying, you should go follow my friend Nathan's Planes. There, I said it. He comes Digi recommended. You'll be glad you did, trust me. But welcome aboard, friend. We're doing a tour of some airports in the Phenom 100, and we are enjoying the world at 4,000 feet. We are on our way out of Newburgh, and we are taking in some what I would call default Bing photogrammetry, circa not quite lately, but Nathan, I know you want to answer that. Tell him what you fly, or what you want to fly. I'm kind of curious. I'm just like monitoring chat to see what the answer is. If there's a wall of text, which is totally endorsed, by the way. You can give stories here. We've got still, really? That much? We still got about 60 nautical miles before we get to KAVP, so we got some time. Speaking of stories, let me catch you up on some of mine. I have been a few weeks into the new year, and I was working on a side project, but I opted to step down to just recalibrate, make sure I'm doing everything I can correctly, and make sure that I am doing my part in my IRL job as well as taking care of the fam. I, like I said before, I'm really, really enjoying the just a slight downturn in IRL work. I know it'll pick up, but I think this is giving me the opportunity to catch up and to educate myself on things that I need to be doing. Oh, gotcha. No worries, Nathan. But I started out new year, got back into work, worked a couple of weeks, and Mrs. Digi and I were minding our dollars and cents, pinching our pennies, and we came upon an opportunity to do something to take better care of our finances, and we did. And now we're in a slightly better position. Praise the Lord. So I am hopeful that we'll get a chance to breathe a little bit easier and prep for upcoming things. I really would like to go to Flight Sim Expo this year. So depending on how we do tax time and any other things that we have to take care of, we'll see if we can actually swing for the trip. I'm trying to do more scenery development. I'm trying to get back on an even keel. I was for a little while. Digi accounts and ops. Yup. 1040 or 10 AWI, and we'll see what happens this year. And I'm trying to keep some pennies set aside, you know? Yes, seriously. You know it. You know it. So I'm trying to be restrained. I'm trying to be. But one look inside my office or my sim setup, and you would probably think I was lying. But no, no. I have a pretty clear understanding of what it is that I want to do in terms of the summer. We'll see what happens, whether or not that actually happens. Hey, got it. I am enjoying getting back into the sim. There for a while, I kind of didn't like it, but I think it was just a question of me trying to do too much. And now I'm in a better place. I did some flights with Studio Canuck. I might do some more. And this is a long weekend. We've got Martin Luther King Jr. Day on Monday, a day of reflection and remembrance, and a chance for me to rest a little more. So I will be taking advantage of that and just taking in the weekend slowly. And otherwise, I did some flying actually a few streams ago in Japan, and I might try doing some flying in either China or in India or in Africa. I probably need to be doing some, East Coast ops up from like South Africa to, Kenya and then Djibouti and then up into like Saudi Arabia and Dubai. I've certainly got the hardware for it in terms of the aircraft, like the 787-10 or the I don't have the Horizon mod, but I have the Kuro mod, the 788, which I've enjoyed using for a long time. And I certainly like flying the business jets. As you can clearly see, it's a wonderful piece of tech. I don't know, but we might actually be crossing into Pennsylvania right now. Or I think we just did. This might be the Delaware River. I could be wrong. Flying the Pocket Pickle. This is the Phenom 100. Welcome aboard, Dendarian. It is a privilege having you back. Um, Hope you are very well. I am taking it easy tonight. I'm flying the business jet, doing a tour of some airports that I've either been to or been past, and we visited a few on the way out of New York City. I went past White Plains, and now we're going to go to Wilkes-Barre Scranton in Pennsylvania, and then swing down to what I think is going to be Reading Airport outside of Reading, and then Heritage Field, and finally we're going to wrap up at Philly International. The funny thing about Philly is that I know that two flight sim companies made versions of that. At one point, I wanted to, but obviously I didn't have the time or the resources to make that kind of thing happen comfortably. I mean, now I have two airports to choose from, so I'm happy about that. We are doing a kind of like low and fast cruise of the I guess the northern mid-Atlantic portion of the US, and I put about 80% of fuel. I think we still got about 1,650 pounds of the stuff, so I don't think we're gonna have a problem making it back to Philly. I am just taking it easy and hoping that all of you are very well. If not, if you're a little bit tired, if you're spent from the week, or if you're frustrated, or if you really don't feel good, if you feel ill, if you don't feel yourself, please know you're safe here. I welcome you. It's a pleasure to have you. I want you to be at peace. I would offer everyone that I know and don't know a chance to know my God through my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I am a Christian and I follow the principles of God through Christ, through the Bible. But I also want you to know, if you don't believe it, if you don't want to deal with that stuff, I welcome you anyway. I never want to force what I believe down anyone's throat, but I do believe that having a personal relationship with God through Christ is an essential and important part of life. Otherwise, you go through life not living it to your best, and when you go to your next life, you'll be separated from God for all eternity. We call that hell, and that's a place I want no one to be at. But again, if you're curious, you can ask me questions. Otherwise, I welcome you here regardless of where you come from, what you believe in. I'm happy to have you aboard. We are roughly 30 nautical miles from Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and I think these increasingly larger and larger hills are turning into low mountains. So we are going to be seeing the, I guess, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Valley shortly. And I believe it was either Wilkes-Barre or Scranton where the fictional location for Dunder Mifflin was in the American version of The Office, a show that I only watched through memes and clips, but Steve Carell apparently did a pretty good job along with the supporting cast. I drove through there on the way to upstate New York. The Office is a great show. Honestly, I might have to start catching some episodes just to get a quick laugh in. And what was I going to say? Yeah, I've driven on the northeast extension of the turnpike. When you get to Scranton, it dead ends into I-81, and then you can take I-81 up north to, I think, like Binghamton, and then from Binghamton you could either go up to Albany or hook a left and go out to I think it's Palmyra, and eventually to Niagara Falls and Buffalo. They filmed it in Cali, but did a great job making it look like PA. I'd be willing to believe that, yeah. Fantastic. And over on my left, it looks like there is Papa Alpha 49er. Look at that. Looks like a tiny, tiny, tiny runway. I don't even think there's 1,000 feet Well, okay, I think that is 1,000 feet, but I don't think that's more than 1,200 feet. That's definitely for uh, piston and ultralights. This thing has to be churning fuel. Let's see. Right now I am at 1578. So I could probably take it back to cruise, and then I think it'll get down to, I think, probably 215 or 200 knots. We should be fine. Let me break immersion here. My immersion. I got 57% fuel, so if anything, we can always pop it down at Reading, and then refuel, and then go back up into the sky and visit Heritage Field or fly over Heritage Field, and then get back to Philly. And I think it's fuel in gallons per hour, I think, or pounds per hour is 515. So yeah, we're chugging the stuff, but you know, like a sports drink, so to speak. And I don't know if this is the turnpike. I don't think so, unless I'm wrong. We're flying at a heading of 270, so I know we're going to be perpendicular to it, at least in part. And I think once we come up over these hills, that's when the valley's going to pop into place. I have been flying FS2020 literally since it came out around August 18th. I was one of the first people flying in the sim on day one, and it was a great time. Um, and it's had its ups and downs. Oh, no doubt, no doubt. I mean, sheesh, look at the map. There's like so many tiny airports and somewhat regional airports too that are out here. So it's the beauty of like the Mid-Atlantic and the New England region. There is like no shortage of places to visit. And as you can see, the foliage is way more seasonally represented, as I'm not looking at fall foliage anymore. Not bad for about 35 minutes of flight time. So let me think. I'm probably going to be seeing the turnpike in another 10 nautical miles or 5. Crazy, man. I'm yawning up a storm here. And I already had a third cup of coffee. I'm not having a fourth. But I only had a teensy bit. Not like I usually do when I am trying to what was this? Um, stay up really late. I probably still will. Okay, we've got about 8 nautical miles, and I think it's here. Yeah, literally over the mountain range. Okay. I think this is a highway down here, but I do not think that's the turnpike. The turnpike is basically going to be running up and down the spine of this cluster of hills that are here, or even more so up the spine by the airport, because I think it goes by 11. Oh, you're still on number one. I just saw the comment. Um, the apple juices. Make sure to set them aside with some water, please. Funny story. I'm not really. I'm barely a social drinker, and last year I picked up I think like a bottle of vodka, and I had the occasional sip, and it's just basically like rubbing alcohol that's basically been cleared for consumption. So one night I poured it into a glass, and I had no concept of measuring. So I think I had like 3 shots at once. I was fine. It was just extremely strong. Bro, have a great night.
Final approach checklist complete.
Tabletop Android, thanks for the support. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. And Poro, again, have a great night and a wonderful weekend. Tabletop Android, welcome aboard. Happy to have you. We are doing a tour, a cook's tour of airports in the northern mid-Atlantic section, and I am just kind of like chilling out tonight and catching up with you amazing people. I'm literally overflying Wilkes-Barre Scranton. That's the terminal right there. The airport's kind of like almost, I want to say, on a kind of makeshift mesa in the middle of the valley. Not like Sedona, not hugely above the town, but just far enough to basically not be at odds with the mountain range that the turnpike is on, which is here. Yeah, and to be honest with you, Darian, um, I indulge in the occasional sip of wine. Uh, it's an even more outlandish thing for me to have a can or a bottle of beer, but I don't drink that much at all. I much rather prefer to drink my coffee, drink tea, drink water, and literally, literally, that's the only kind of thing I do with regards to consuming like alcoholic drinks when I'm on break or on vacation. So it's really not something I do very often at all, if ever. So I enjoy catching up with people. Every once in a long while, I might do it with a drink in my hand, but it's certainly not a requirement for me. I also have I Love VFR installed as a scenery add-on, which adds some windmills, or excuse me, you know, powered windmills, the things that actually capture wind power, wind turbines. There we go. I haven't installed much of anything into 2024 yet. I think I guess I'm just trying to get the lay of the land and figure out what it is that I want to do. But it'll most likely happen. I think we're going to get to a point where we're really going to clean up and we're going to have a nicely put together sim, and then we're going to have this opportunity to do the things that we wanted to do with the sim without it taking up such a huge amount of a space on our computers. But one step at a time. 225 knots right now. Let me scale back the throttle a little bit more. I don't care if I'm like around 200 knots. And in case you missed it, I am flying the Phenom 100. This is made by a company called, I think it's called Cockspur Dev Team. It's a great looking plane. And it's probably about the most value-packed um, payware plane that you're going to get this side of, a twin turboprop or something like that, or an airliner. It's really good. I would agree, Nathan. I haven't flown the baby bus, but I think it's just a bit smaller than the A319, and the 736 is honestly the little engine that could. Its wingspan is larger than its length from nose to tail, and it's a capable little bird. I like it. A dictionary to translate. I kind of like that. Okay, got 43 nautical miles to Reading. And how much fuel do I have right now? I have roughly 51%. Okay, I think I should be able to squeak it back to Philly with the fuel that I have on board. If I keep kind of getting a bit economy with my cruise, we should probably be able to wrap up and get over where we need to go. Speaking of which, let me go ahead and catch my breath because I think I need to get something from Mrs. DG real quick. So, chat amongst yourselves. I'll be back shortly. Sit tight. All right, friends, I'm back. We went to the galley to get ice cream for Mrs. Digi, and she got some nice ice cream and a brownie to enjoy it with. Okay, it looks like we're coming into some weather as well, which is kind of cool. And we are a little bit less than 30 nautical miles away from Reading. Looks like we're going to be going through a pocket of mountains to get there, so I'm expecting a little bit more turb, which is kind of cool. Where are we right now? Anything major on the ground? Look at these hills. Look at this area. Wow. Cemetery. Wherever this is kind of like out here. Wow. Incredible. So all right, it is. I'm basically going south-southwest, so yeah, we are going to be going through a bunch of hills to get to Reading, and then once we get to Reading, we'll hook a left, and we will head to Heritage Field, and we will get back to Philly. Successfully avoided the temptation to say we will rock you, but there, I said it. I've never flown into Reading Airport in this sim. I think I did it once in FSX, and I didn't pay attention to how, the landscape looks. Also, of course, in here, we're going to get, you know, wind effect from the mountains. I think the sim has been updated or gotten to the point now where you literally could do gliding. Which is kind of dope. Okay, about 20 nautical miles to go. We should be coming into the valley in the next, like, maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then overflying downtown. And once we do that, we'll start the left turn and start heading back to civilization. We are in civilization. Heading back to the city area. So, in one sense, we went from New York to Philadelphia through the Appalachian Mountain Range. But it is amazing. It's also kind of cold. And then Sunday, it's going to be even colder, most likely, because the Mid-Atlantic area is going to get a nor'easter. I think. I'm reasonably sure that's what's coming. Blizzard conditions? I don't think so. I think uh, some inches of snow are coming, but not much after that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Okay, less than 50 nautical miles. So we're definitely coming into the valley. We should be seeing Reading shortly. Good news is I still got about 1,200 plus pounds, gallons, pounds. Yes, pounds. So how much more do I have? I have, let's see, roughly 60 some odd nautical miles to go before we get back. So that's not bad. Adjusting my altimeter a bit as we go. and we are descending ever so slightly. Correct me if I'm wrong, geography experts, but I believe Reading is the county seat of Berks County. There are some official, municipal or public buildings in downtown. And years and years ago, the Reading outlets had a bunch of basically stores that you would literally drive 3.5 to 4 hours out from, the metropolitan New York area to get like really cheap prices on clothing or other things that you typically buy at a mall. So, like for example, if you were to shop at, I don't know, JCPenney's, which I don't think exists anymore, but say they had like a clothing line, you would go to the outlets and then you'd basically go there and buy the same stuff for much less money. At least that was the draw. I I think I went there. I want to say some 5 or 6 or 7 years ago, and there were, I think, still one or two large outlets that were there, but I don't think it was as big as it used to be. And I mean, I think this is just in general because of the fact that we have moved to buying so much stuff online. I still like going to a mall just to take a look at the shops and window shop and buy things, but I'm also incredibly lazy. Here is Reading Municipal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they also fly one or two airlines out of here as well. I kind of don't think they do, but I could be wrong. Probably like extremely small, Saab turboprops or like, ERJs coming to here. Maybe. I've seen business jets, but no. And I think downtown Reading is. Did we pass it already? Let's see. It's got to be around here somewhere. Oh, there it is. I think it was further down. Yes. All right. So, not sure how much I'm going to be able to show you, but basically, right around here is downtown Reading. And on one of these hills, either this hill or this hill, is a famous pagoda temple. I want to say it's here or here. One of these two hills, I forget. Okay, so literally just like that, all it took was about an hour of flying, and now we're like in the next to last leg already, which is crazy. We are on our way to Heritage Field, which is just outside of Pottstown, and Pottstown is one of those areas that is adjacent to the Schuylkill River. The Schuylkill River is the river that winds its way past the city of Philadelphia and empties out into the Delaware. And it goes quite a ways back. I don't think it touches the Susquehanna, because that river goes out to, I think, the Delmarva Bay, but the Schuylkill goes past Reading and it empties into Delaware River. Lots of grass and farmland out here. It's kind of beautiful. Okay, so now we should be coming back into photogrammetry land, which is kind of cool. And somewhere around, let's see, how far out? Oh, wow, it's not that far out at all. It's going to be just off the nose. We should see, yeah, there it is. There's Heritage Field. And we're going to be flying past Limerick, Pennsylvania. Limerick has a nuclear power plant. And I don't think there are any hydropower plants. The closest that you might have to harvesting, any kind of falling water for electricity is, believe it or not, potentially around Easton, or even further north around Lehighton, Pennsylvania. I think we might have actually flown past Lehighton a little bit on our way from Wilkes-Barre down to Reading in those hills, because there are rivers, plenty of mountains, and probably plenty of places where the rivers fall off of mountains. So maybe in one or two spots there are dams set up where they're harvesting electric power that way. And can I see the road beneath me? I think I can. I can't quite make out. Oh no, I think I see it now. I think I see 422 down here. I think so. We're going past, I believe, we went past Stowe and Pottstown, and now I can clearly see 422, and that's Heritage Field down there. One physical runway, general aviation facility. Went there once when they were having a kind of quick little get-together, and I got a chance to, shake some hands and talk about the just general aviation and flight. I think I really would still like to get my PPL in real life. Muendo, thank you so much for the resub. 5 months more towards the LFT dev. Thank you so much, my friend. I have not given up on that. In fact, I think I've kind of done a strategic advance to rear. Do it, do it, do it. Palpatine be like, do it. I do want to. I need time and I need money. I can put down the commitment, but I do need the time and the money. And there are some things that do need to come first. Fortunately or unfortunately, depends on your point of view, but at the same time, it's life. I do want to fly a real plane. And I did fly a real plane once with a full stomach. Bad idea, by the way. We'll just leave it at that. I think anyone that's been a friend of the channel long enough knows the story, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Eating a heavy meal before flying a prop plane in late spring, no good. But as Mwendo graciously pointed out, I am trying to release a version of Lafayette Airport Kilo Lima Foxtrot Tango for Microsoft Flight Sim. I started to work last fall in FS2020, and I do intend to finish it for FS2020. I'm not giving up on that. I'm not transitioning to FS2024, although I would like to make it for FS2024 at one point. Now, we are coming up over Collegeville and over a bunch of corporate campuses. I think that's Pfizer down there. And the interesting thing about this division here, there was supposed to be a split from 422 over to 23 to actually connect that highway with that state route. It never happened. So it is what it is. Let's see. How long do we get to Philly? Actually, not that far at all. And can we see the north-south runway from here? Not yet. But as soon as I get the runway lights blinking in the horizon, on the horizon, I should be able to prep myself for landing. Last time I checked, winds were coming in from the southeast. But let me go ahead and refresh. Winds are 200 at 5, so landing runway 17 is still a very good idea. And my heading is 163 now anyway. But again, Wendo, thank you so much for the support. Really, you are all a wonderful part of my flight sim experience, and I'm very, very grateful to have you guys with me. Welcome to King of Prussia. This is one of the biggest malls in the entire country, short of the Mall of America. This is the King of Prussia Mall. It used to be two separate mall buildings, but they built a land bridge between the two of them. So essentially, you can walk across the whole thing now without stepping out into the parking lot. This is also Interstate 76, which eventually hooks up with the Blue Route, which again follows the Conshohocken River to take you into downtown Philadelphia, which is here. We are going to be landing on runway 17, and as soon as I can find where it is, we're probably going to start lining up to land there. Which is a bit of an added challenge considering the sun is still coming up in our accelerated time in tomorrow morning land. So it's going to be what I would call a very short final. And I think right now we're flying over the Blue Route, which is Interstate 476, which takes you all the way down to the Delaware River to I-95, and if you hook a left to Philly International Airport, which I have flown out of IRL to visit destinations, the likes of which you most likely already know. Okay. Can I see it? I do have a visual with the runway. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and disable autopilot. Let's go ahead and set up for our landing. And this is going to be it. There's Philly in the distance right there. And there's the runway. All right, here we go. Fastest way to lose airspeed, drop the landing gear. There we go. And there we are, runway 17 straight ahead. Let's go ahead and put out some flaps as well. We're dropping really fast. Let's add some trim. All right, so clicking the keyboard to adjust my trim. And I'm going to go ahead and set my flaps to 2. We're going to be landing really slow because I'm going to try to get off of the runway in time to make the left turn to Atlantic Aviation Parking, which is over on the left. Right, come on. Keep me trim, please. I'm a little bit high on the approach, but I think we should be fine. For my flaps right now, they're at 26 degrees. 500. A little bit wobbly, but still relatively stable. Feeding in as much trim as I possibly can. I think we're maxed out on trim. And I think I'm still way up on profile, but that's fine because I'm overflying power lines. All right, a little bit of gentle back pressure. Overflying I-95. And now, full idle. Too much energy, but just let it bleed off. All right, not bad. Just a teensy bounce. 60 knots. And I think I just made the taxiway for... Okay, I went past the GA runway, but I did pull off before 27 right. Welcome down, everybody. Welcome to Philly International Airport. Definitely an unconventional approach and a not often used runway on Twitch streams, at least. We landed on 17, which is not 27 right or left, or 9 right or left. This is going to take us over to general aviation parking. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over to taxi, take strobe lights off, and then slow down a little bit more. I want to thank everybody that stopped by today and appreciate having you all with me. You all make the flight sim experience worth it. Iowa Scotsman, thank you so much for 42 months. You are absolutely incredible, friend. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for lurking if you were here before, and appreciate having you aboard. I just got into Philly after touring some airports in, let's see, New York and upstate PA. I'm flying the Coxper Phenom 100. This is an Embraer, a tiny, tiny, tiny little bizjet, which has somewhere between 800 to 1,000 nautical miles of range when flown properly. I am not insinuating that I flew properly today, but I had fun. And we visited a whole bunch of places. We overflew Newark, LaGuardia, White Plains. We flew to Newburgh. We flew past Newburgh to Wilkes-Barre and Scranton in upstate Pennsylvania. We flew past Reading, and then we finally got back to here, which is the general aviation portion of Philadelphia International. Let's go ahead and cut the throttles, and let's go ahead and start chopping the engines. So, engine right and left full stop, ignitions to off. Let's go ahead and vent the oxygen pressure, take the bleeds off, mode manual, and we'll start turning ADS and AOA off. Window heats can come off, and fuel pumps also off. All right, ELT can come off, seatbelt signs can come off, and oh, of course, I should stop the timer. and turn transponder to standby. Then we can turn gens off, and parking brake is set. And I think that's everything. Bus time, battery 2 and battery 1. Click, and we're done. All right, let's go ahead and actually park this plane for now. Put chocks and covers on, and the control lock. Control lock is in place, and no need for a GPU since the thing is turned off. So, welcome down to the GA terminal at Philly. I don't have a payware version of this because reasons, but now that I have a little bit of disposable income at my disposal, I probably will get the payware version of Philly just to see how close it is to real life since I have tread through those terminals in the past. Not the regional terminals, but like B and A and C, I think. And this is by far one of the coolest business jets I've got the privilege of flying in this sim. And I'm guessing it's compatible with 2024. I haven't tried it yet, but I would imagine it wouldn't be difficult um, to move it over and give it a shot. If I don't do that tonight, I might do that either tomorrow or Sunday. Folks, again, thank you so much for stopping by, listening to me yap on, and for being a part of this amazing community. Let me see. I think my friend Studio Canuck is streaming now. I would be very happy to say hello. So I think we're just going to go ahead and do that right now. We're going to go ahead and set up a raid and raid Studio Canuck because I'm about 1,000% sure he's on. But you know what? Just to look all nice and smart, I'm going to double check. And I'm checking, and yes, Canuck is streaming. By any chance, would you be willing to do a taxiway layout only update for Mayfield Graves County? Literally only has the runway paved in FS 2020. Mondo, I would be glad to. Feel free to send me a DM on Discord. We can talk. If all it is laying out taxiways, I could probably have that cranked out for you in a few days, depending on the size of the airport. But yeah, definitely. Hit me up. We'll definitely talk. Folks, let's go ahead and set up a raid to go visit my friend Studio Canuck, and we will sign off for the evening. Like I always like to say at the end of every stream, if you want true peace, you really do want the Prince of Peace, and that's Jesus Christ. My friends, it's been a privilege taking you around some airports tonight. Stick around for the raid. We're going to go ahead and say hello to Studio Canuck in a few seconds. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend if I don't see you. Hit Studio Canuck up with some Digi emotes if you have them. And take care, folks. Have a great rest of your night. Much love to all of you. Until next time.